Hey, Bob Gardner here from Liberated Man. Today it's nighttime and I'm doing this little show. I just finished, it's a general conference for the church that I attend, the Mormon church. And we just finished a meeting. And you can see people running out of the meetings, getting to their cars. This is the priesthood meeting, the men's meeting on Saturday night. And we'll see if I can actually get myself into the light a little bit. But you can see there's all these people here running out in white shirts and ties. Well, this is what happened. We scheduled some things in a really poor way today. I should say I scheduled some things in a really poor way today. And so today has been a scramble of going back and forth and trying to get things done. And in the process of doing that, what has happened is, and I'm trying to walk away so that there's not as much noise from people starting their cars. So there's a street light over here. But what's happened in the process of doing that is that I ended up going and returning something to somebody across town, and I brought my son with me, and we were on our way back, and I wasn't gonna make it. I tried to make sure that I could be back in time, but I wasn't gonna make it. And so here I was going back to my place, and I get on the phone with my wife, my beautiful wife Jasmine, and I tell her, look, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drop my son off, drop him off, and then I'm gonna head straight over to the meeting. And she, at first, her gut reaction was kind of like, what, you're gonna head over there not dressed in? Yep, that's right, not wearing church garb, white shirt and tie and stuff. And so she was a little bit at first, that kind of like shook something in her. So she's like, I'm not trying to be judgmental. She's like, not at all. It's just like something weird about that. And so we talked about it, and she's like, either way is fine by me, and it doesn't matter. Like, this is just her opinion. But she's like, actually, in the end, I guess it doesn't really matter. But for me, what mattered was I had a choice. I could spend an extra few minutes running into the house, getting the kids all riled up because daddy's home, and then having to figure out how to get out of that mess, but then also changing my clothes, getting back, getting in the car and come on, or just swing by, drop the kid off and go. And the extra 5 minutes or even 10 minutes that I would have gained at the meeting was worth more to me than showing up in a white shirt and tie. Now, I admit that there's like a rebellious streak in me that loves the idea of showing up to a church meeting not in a white shirt and tie. And so I did it. But I didn't want to be a disturbance, so I stayed in the foyer the whole time. That way people weren't just looking at me and having weird thoughts in their own heads. I didn't want to take away from the meeting. So I stayed there, and it's not like the first few minutes mattered all that much. It's not like I got some mega nugget out of the first few minutes, but I got there in time to hear the first speaker commence, which was good for me. Like, that was what I wanted. We finished a song and the first speaker started, and I wanted to at least be able to be there for that. And then I had some beautiful insights during the process that I was able to kind of like sit with and munch on. And it was a wonderful meeting in many ways. Like, it started to crystallize some things that I need to do in my own life. But here was the rub. Like, the thing that was caught up on, like, people came in, nobody gave me a hard time about anything. They shook my hand or ignored me or whatever it was. But the rub is, like, in our heads, my wife and I were concerned about appearance versus the substance. And that happens so many times, especially when it comes to, like, because I work with guys who are dealing with addiction and pornography. The appearance is something that's under the hood. And so we're really good at putting on appearances and making it seem like everything's okay in our life, when in fact, if we were just real about it, a lot of times we wouldn't have the problems that we have. But instead, we fight to look good, and because we're fighting to look good, sometimes we miss the substance of life. We're so busy putting up appearances that we miss the good stuff that we could have received had we just been there for it. And this doesn't just happen inside of church meetings. Like, it happens inside of body work. Some people, I remember as a Kung Fu instructor when I owned my own school some years ago, I was teaching people, there were stretches we would do, like put your nose to the floor. And so people would strive to put their nose to the floor, but they wouldn't actually get a good stretch out of it. They were doing the appearance of a good stretch, and everybody was like amazed by it, but they weren't actually stretching very well. So they weren't getting the benefit of the stretch. People go to church, the same thing. They dress up all nice and they read their scriptures every day, but they don't know how to read them to actually get something out of their scriptures. Right? They show up at home, they do their family nights and they spend time with their kids, but they're not mentally present. They just are doing the appearance of being a good dad. They make all the right posts on social media and Facebook, and as a result, what happens? Well, they're not getting anything out of it, and neither is their family, other than the baseline kind of like, okay, we did our duty kind of stuff. We miss the substance because we're so focused on the appearance of things. And so tonight, as we're kind of wrapping this up, just I want you to consider this. consider this one thought. Where in your life, because I got some thoughts on my own, but where in your life are you so concerned about appearances that you're missing the real stuff of life? The stuff that would fill you up, the stuff that would give you the next step, the answer for the next piece of your life. Where are you so concerned about appearances that the next step, like that you're missing the real juice and the flavor of your life? So that's just a thought for tonight, and hope you're having a good night, and we'll talk next time. If you're looking for more tips like this, subscribe to the channel, get other people, tell them about it. We want to make sure that we're giving good solid principles to people that are suffering, because it's time to liberate people from needless suffering.